A black mini cargo truck rushed down the road as it headed toward the city of Seattle. The night was filled by the lights from the city. Behind the wheel was a man who looked like he was in his early 40s. He watched the road with extreme vigilance, like he was expecting for something to happen. The passenger next to him was a bit younger, who looked like she was in her late 20s. She had her arm rested against the door, and her head was pillowed on it while watching the traffic pass by through the window. "I really need a fucking vacation after this," she said quietly before sitting up with a sigh. "With the amount of jobs we've been called in for, I doubt it," the older man responded. "Well, they gotta consider. They have no idea what lengths we went through to bag this target," the girl responded with a frown before gesturing at the cargo hold behind them. Just then, a loud pound was heard from the hold before followed by scraping. "Shut up already," she screamed toward the cargo hold, and the sound stopped. "Geez, easy, Gina," the older man said with a breathy chuckle. "No, that bitch in there has been keeping me up during this drive with that constant pounding of hers," the girl known as Gina said. "Well, we're here now, so you don't have to worry about her anymore," the older man responded with a smile. "Fuck you, Richard," Gina mumbled before reaching forward under her seat. The truck made its way through the busy city. Richard knew that they had to get through the city to get to the place where they had to drop the target. He and Gina were still exhausted from the ordeal that they went through to capture their target. The contract jobs they'd been receiving were getting dangerous each time. Gina rose up again while struggling to put on a gray sweater. She was able to put it on and then silently sat back in her seat. After a few minutes of driving, Gina noticed a street light explode, which shocked the civilians that were still walking around. Another one exploded, and this time, Gina turned and saw more streetlights exploding, and commotion started to happen around people. Then the pounding from the cargo hold resumed again and was followed by a female grunt, causing the truck to sway a bit. "Ah, fuck," Richard said as he watched the commotion through the rearview mirror. "You better get us out of her before the cops show up," Gina said while ignoring the pounding from the cargo hold. She knew the pounding and grunts from the cargo hold would draw attention and that someone would probably call the cops on them. "Let's take a different route then," Richard said before taking off down a more isolated road. After a few hours, they drove down a wooded area. The drop-off for the target was at a secret facility in the outskirted woods of the city. The organization that they worked for was so secret that not even the U.S. government was aware of it, mainly because of what their job entails them to do. "I better get a raise for this," Gina said with a frown. "You and me both," Richard agreed. Then they turned off onto a trail and drove through a dirt trail that had trees hanging over them. Gina was always creeped out by this side of the woods and where the facility was located. During her job, she had seen a lot of freaky and terrifying shit, but coming back to these woods never took that unease away. They drove for a couple more minutes before a large building appeared in front of them. From a distance, it would be hard to spot it because of the giant trees that covered the area. It was also one of the reasons why this secret organization has been staying in secret for a long time. They came into the driveway that was provided and came to a stop at the entrance of the facility. A guard appeared and walked up to them while they made their way out of the truck. "Well, well, so you two are still alive," the guard said. Gina smirked at the comment. "Come on, Owen, you can't get rid of us that easy." The guard known as Owen smiled at this before looking at Richard. "You got the target?" Richard nodded. "Yeah, she's real nice and cozy in there." Then the sound of banging and shrieks were heard from the cargo hold, and this caused the truck to shake a bit. Gina and Richard backed away at this, while Owen merely watched the truck. "Damn, seems like you caught a feisty one," Owen whistled. "Well, let's get her out." They walked toward the truck, and Gina undid the lock of the cargo doors before she and Richard singed the heavy doors open. Owen walked up and saw a 6-foot rectangular metal box inside the cargo hold. The box was covered with many talismans from different religions and rosary necklaces. Owen whistled at the gravity of it all. "That must have been some target if you covered it up in talismans like that. We had to pour holy water lastly to keep her in," Richard said with a deep sigh. What is she exactly? Owen asked. A Rusalka, from Slavic folklore, highly dangerous. Gina deadpanned while glaring at the box. We've been hunting each other for days, Richard added. Capturing a Rusalka ain't easy. I almost got drowned by that bitch several times, Gina said with spite. Damn, you guys are lucky to be alive, Owen said, staring at them both. Sure. They better pay us extra for this. We almost died in a couple of snowstorms just to capture that spirit, Richard said calmly. Yeah, you guys gotta take it with the big guys on top, Owen said, before he pulled out his radio and spoke into it. Security team, we got a target delivery. Need assistance to escort it to level 2 containment. They still use level 2? Gina asked Richard. Yup, Richard replied. But I fought after the Bloody Mary, Incy, let's just say they learned their lesson after that. Now they're keeping her in level 4, Richard explained. Isn't level 4 where we keep the most dangerous entities? Gina asked. Yup, Richard smiled. She's right at home with the other equally dangerous beings. Gina just shook her head at this. It was just too terrifying. Sleep well tonight, if you can. Subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss a nightmare.